There are 3 stocks that have made us a lot of money over the past week, but I still see a lot of upside potential in them over the second half of September, even into October, November, and December, and that's why I want to share them with you today. Those 3 stocks are Palantir, Unity Software, and Veritone. Today, we're going to take a look at all 3 of these ticker symbols on the charts. I want to give you my upside price targets for them from a short, medium, and longer term time horizon, and I also want to share some complementary articles that Palantir and Unity specifically just released that also feed into the bullish narrative for these stocks in the month and months ahead. Okay, before we get into some of this news and before we dive into these charts, I'm sure you see this guy right here, okay? I have my phone mirrored for you guys right here. Do a little wiggle just for validation, for clarification. This was our Unity Software call. This is the call options contract that I personally had in my portfolio this morning, and that I share with the members of Waves Capital, the members of my complete portfolio and daily newsletter group. It is the first link in the description of this video if you want to become an official member of Waves Capital and receive my daily trade alerts, receive my daily newsletters, and have a complete look into the entirety of my options portfolio. Unity Software. As I'm sure you can imagine just by the context of this video, we're talking about 3 stocks. Even these 3 stocks are only 3 individual positions within a significantly more diversified options portfolio and stock and common share portfolio. So if you guys want to get in on plays like Unity before they pop like they did today, our average cost at Waves Capital on these contracts was 35 cents, meaning that we well over 2x, almost 3x our position on these Unity calls just today. A little bit of luck is involved, but if you guys have been trading for a while, you would know that luck is a bit necessary in great trades. So that's the reality of the game. We got lucky. We're thriving. And if you guys want to join Waves Capital, if you want to become members of the winning team, then that is the first link in the description of the video once again. If you want to sign up, if you do join, we appreciate you and we welcome you to the team. But if not, no worries at all. I appreciate you watching this video, and I still hope you go on to gain some value from it. And let me know in the comments, are you a fan of these stocks? Did you invest in any of these stocks? Have you experienced any of the upside gains that these stocks have provided over the past couple of days and past week? Let me know in the comments, and let me know if you're bullish on them like I am. Palantir Technologies initially popped. I should say it initially popped on a very, very bullish earnings report at the beginning of the month of August. I'm proud to say that over at Waves Capital, we've actually played Palantir very well over the past month or so. But with this news that they're going to be introduced to the S&P 500, I'm even more bullish than I was initially. So Palantir's S&P 500 inclusion, a watershed moment, says Bank of America, anticipates more institutional investors. Let's read over just these 2 paragraphs and then we'll dive into the charts. With its inclusion in the S&P 500 index, Palantir Technologies Inc. is entering a new phase that will likely attract a new wave of investors and long-term capital, according to Bank of America. On Tuesday, the investment bank reiterated a buy rating and raised the price target for the data analytics and artificial intelligence firm from $30 to $50. That's a big jump. But as we dive into the charts, I'm sure, I shouldn't say it can justify, the technicals justify this, but it makes sense. And it wouldn't be surprising to me at all if we do jump into $50 again. More on that when down to the charts. As S&P 500 inclusion provides a watershed moment for institutional investors. And that's really the big theme here, you guys. S&P 500 inclusion. I mean, if you guys have any 401ks, any funds or any investment vehicles that you invest in through large funds, you would know that the S&P 500 is pretty much in every single American's 401k, right? Just as the base level example. That is good news. And prior to this inclusion, prior to Palantir becoming a member of the S&P 500, it's a lot easier for, the average Joe, mom and pop, the 401k contributors to invest and take part in Palantir, okay? This is just, I don't want to say it's just a $78 billion company, but in the grand scheme of the markets, when you think about most of the stocks within the S&P 500, $78 billion, even after the run-up it's just had, it's still sitting at $78 billion. Crazy PE ratio, okay? Crazy PE ratio. I'm not talking about that in this video. I'm talking about the attraction of this stock. Once again, not only to average Joes due to this news, because this is objectively bullish news. Again, can you justify this PE ratio? I'm not going to say you can. Is it rational? I'm not going to say that's a rational PE ratio. No one can. I mean, if you do say that's rational, then you're probably irrational. But aside from, the minutia of the PE ratio, this S&P 500 inclusion is very bullish. Sentiment around Palantir is bullish. Again, that institutional adoption aspect, not institutional adoption, but institutional, just institutional players being able to get their hand into Palantir is very, very bullish. That introduces the potential for a lot more capital inflow to Palantir as a stock, obviously. Okay, so that's Palantir. Very, very fundamentally bullish. Again, coming out of very, very good, very, very promising and very bullish earnings reports that I think we covered in one of my recent videos earlier this month. But right now, technically speaking, Palantir is absolutely riding the waves. They have so much positive momentum in their favor. And with the news of this S&P 500 inclusion, they have broken above a very significant line of long-term resistance that has been in place since August of 2023. This line of macro resistance is part of an ascending channel that Palantir has been in for over a year. Okay, September 24 now, over a year. This channel, I shouldn't say this channel was technically created with these highs that we saw earlier this year, but the first touch point on this channel was over a year ago. And that means it is a very, very significant channel that pretty much every trader on the planet is going to keep an eye on. So this S&P 500 news catalyzed a breakout from the line of resistance on this ascending channel. Came up what I really like to see, that we already got out of the way. We already checked this off, which I needed to see happen before I really kind of doubled down on Palantir, which I have over the past couple of days. We retested prior resistance as new support. Okay, we've ticked off that box. If we didn't do this, I would be worried about a potential pullback because I would be very concerned that if you guys have followed this channel for a while, you would know that it's almost inevitable with a trend line this significant and this watched by traders and quant funds. It's probably going to be retested at some point. I'm super glad that we got that out of the way. Again, we checked off that box, and now we can focus on the next wave up to what I believe will probably be new highs. Okay, so very, very easy price target for Palantir. I'm not going to speculate upon how long it takes to get there. You could also, just looking at this chart, just using historical ceilings and floors. When we're in an area like this, as far as 2024 is concerned, we're in blue sky territory. The only references we have, historically speaking, on the charts is back in February of 2021, where Palantir was absolutely ripping. We did see some resistance around $40, and we also saw Palantir's previous all-time high at $45. Okay, so if I was trading Palantir, which I am, I'm trading call options on Palantir, already made a very, very pretty penny, some very life-changing gains over the past week because I had a bunch of Palantir call options through this news. Again, as I said in the beginning, a little luck is a lot of times needed, but you put yourself in a position to be lucky. Okay, it's not luck if you're trying to make money. Okay, you didn't get lucky making money if you were trying to make money. Okay, but luck definitely helps. That's the reality of it. Okay, and again, if you want a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio, that is going to be the first link in the description of this video. $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months, up to you. You decide. You can always cancel, but I trust that you will not regret giving a shot if you do. Anyway, Palantir's all-time high is going to be my from this point moving forward, really the first major profit target that I can see coming into play. Palantir, obviously 2021, as we all know, was a very, very bubbly time for the market, not just Palantir, but for pretty much the entirety of growth assets, hyper growth assets, tech stocks. It was a big old bubble in 2021. There was way too much money being siphoned into the economy. But right now, from a fundamental perspective, Palantir has advanced so much as a company. Operationally, they've made so much, obviously, operational advancements. I guess that's pretty parallel to the company advancements. But this S&P 500 inclusion, as I've said a few times already, so I don't want to keep echoing this, just significantly heightens the potential for more capital inflow into this stock. That's the ultimate point. More capital into a stock with a relatively low market cap just really lends itself to some insane price action, and that's what I think we are going to see in the weeks and months ahead. My initial price target for Palantir is obviously going to be the fairly obvious $45, which is their previous all-time high, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Bank of America's price target comes into play really within the next couple of months at $50, and if I'm, which I probably will, even if we see $45, I'll still alter my call options. I do think that there's a very, very good likelihood of Palantir traveling to $50, even beyond $50, especially if the Fed cuts rates next week at the time of recording, 25, 50 basis points preferably. But yeah, I think $45 to $50 is completely reasonable. I don't want to say it's rational, but I would not be surprised in the least if in the month of October into November, we see $45 to $50, a $45 to $50 PLTR. Okay, that's Palantir. Unity Software. Let's take a look at this, which I featured in my newsletter this morning. Unity jumps after revealing a plan to cancel runtime fee, raise subscription fees, and that's what led to those call options gains that I shared in my Robinhood account at the beginning of this video. Unity Software shares jumped 8% by noon trading on Thursday after the company announced it was immediately canceling the runtime fee for its games customers while increasing subscription fees for its largest customers. Canceling the runtime fee for games and instituting these pricing changes will allow us to continue investing to improve game development for everyone while also being better partners, said Unity CEO Matt Bromberg in a blog post today. Okay. Very bullish, and again, just to give you guys an insight as to what those daily trade alert newsletters that I've been referencing look like. If you aren't a member, obviously if you are, you know perfectly well what these look like. But if you are a prospective member, if you were thinking about signing up, this is just a look into kind of what my daily newsletters look like. I cover Veritone, cover a lot of great names in here. Those are all the options, so got to scroll quick past that. But again, it's been an amazing week over Waves Capital, and again, just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. If things keep on keeping on the way they are right now, then this should pay off a lifetime of membership, regardless of how much you're trading, to be honest, okay? For the last time, first link in the description if you want to sign up. If not, no worries at all. Very bullish news for Unity. Sent the stock flying today, playing perfectly into the initial kind of... and these dates right here, just for full transparency, I will say that those probably give you an inclination as to what the expiration dates on my call options contracts are, okay? So, Unity Software, looking very, very bullish, okay? Prior to this news, again, lucky piece of news that catalyzed the pop, I was already heavily invested in Unity, and that's why, obviously, we caught the move up today, okay? Because Unity was printing a beautiful head and shoulders pattern. Inverse head and shoulders pattern. The bullish inverse twin of the head and shoulders pattern. Okay? You can see big old shoulder here, came, flattened out, created that shoulder line. Head, created the opposing shoulder line, which is a nice symmetrical shoulder level. You create a symmetrical range following that big dip, which is the head, obviously. And then, ultimately, the resolution of this head and shoulders pattern, you could almost say is up here. You could make the argument that it's up here around $25, $26. But personally, I really like, and I will choose to trade upon this level right here and use this as my first major profit target for Unity, which is about $21.70. Okay? This not only comes pretty close to a resolution for this inverse head and shoulders pattern, but it also plays as Unity's untested floor. Okay, so previous floor that has yet to be tested. Okay, that's kind of what I meant to say there in a little more clear of a way. But Unity's prior floor, Unity has been in a very, very clear downtrend for a very, very long time. And this floor has yet to be retested. As we zoom out here, I paused a little bit because looking at this makes me even more bullish on the chart, just in terms of the potential that this freaking stock has in the month ahead. Because we've seen many times before, when Unity gets a positive catalyst, things can get crazy very fast. Okay? And if Jerome Powell and the Fed make the right decision next week and feed the fire and fuel the bulls, really kick the bulls in the butt in a good way, really spur the bulls forward, then I think it's entirely possible that we make our way up to what is a very conservative line of resistance. I'll say that this is the absolute line of resistance that I'll absolutely be taking probably complete profits on if we do see it. But I do think that Unity can climb anywhere from the range of $30 to $35 within the next 1 to 3 months. Okay, within the next 1 to 3 months, I won't be surprised at all if Unity sees $30 to $35. Okay, so profit-wise, I will be taking some profits at 2170. I will be taking some profits, restructuring my options positions around $25-26, because that would be, in my mind, a complete resolution of this head and shoulders pattern. But overall, and I mean, if that does happen, then some pretty life-changing gains will be made up to that point. But even if we do break above $25, I definitely think it's possible, dare I say likely, for Unity to test one of these long-term trend lines that I have drawn here. Cyan, or I'll go sky blue on that one, because the sky's the limit. Okay, so that's Unity. Palantir, close it out with Veritone. Short, sweet. Veritone, still seeing kind of lacking volume, but Veritone is looking very, very clearly bullish in my view. Veritone just bounced off of this line of support today. As I record this, we were up 11-12% as we close the day. At one point, up 18%. Amazing to see. This is a little gem. I have a very large position in Veritone. I shouldn't say very large, relative to me, large. As far as the options portfolio is concerned, Veritone takes up significant amounts of call options and also some common shares. But I'm very bullish. Veritone, market cap of $130 million. They just had that NCAA deal. They are scaling very impressively as a company. Their revenue speaks dividends to like the potential of this stock. Aren't yet profitable, and route to profitability. There are so many green flags. I shouldn't say green flags. They're greenish flags. They're yellow-green flags that are leading me to be very, very bullish on the stock. And I mean, just zooming out and looking at it like this, I think Veritone has so much potential for upside. I do think that Veritone at some point, my first profit target is going to be $6, but at some point I do think that this line of long-term resistance will be tested. That could coincide with this little prior low over here that has yet to be retested once again that we saw on April 5th. $6, first profit target for Veritone. But overall, I do think that even if it's not in 2024, in 2025, Veritone can break above these lines of resistance and ultimately see a true second wave. Not just a second wave to $6, but a true like two-wave pattern back up to this prior untested low at $13. Okay, again, it's crazy to think that Veritone once looked like this. It's crazy to think that a lot of stocks look like this. But again, we just have to put into perspective. I guess this doesn't really put into perspective. It's a reminder. It acts as a reminder of how crazy things can get and how fast things can happen. Okay. So just remember, you guys, luck is always involved in especially options trades, but you want to put yourself in the best position possible to be lucky. Okay. And that's what I do every day. That's what we over Waves Capital try to do every day. And again, if you do join, if you become a member of my Complete Portfolio Daily Newsletter, welcome to the team. If not, that's all right. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the comments below about not only these three, but any stocks that you may like yourself. So I'll see you downstairs, and until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.